Hi everyone, welcome to this 45-minute practice. We're going to be working on hips today. So it's quite common for you to hold a lot of tension in your hips. They are the deepest and biggest joint in our body. And especially at the moment with a lot of sitting down and not moving much, you'll probably find that your hips are quite tight. So just take this class as you need it. Take the poses that feel good and leave what doesn't feel so good for you. And we'll move through the flow together. So as you're ready, come down to your back. So we're going to start lying for today and bring the soles of your feet to the floor. Knock your knees in towards one another. Feet are about as wide as your mat. And then just bring your hands onto your body and gently close the veil of your eyelids down. Just start to do a quick scan of your body and specifically a scan of your hips. How are they feeling today? Are you feeling any pain anywhere in the body? Any discomfort? Just becoming aware of what's going on for you today. And then release those observations as you start to bring your focus towards your breath. As your breath comes in and as your breath moves out. Together we'll start to shape the breath together, just a short breath practice to start us off for our flow today. So to clear anything out, let's take a breath in through the nose, fill all the way up. And then let it go through the mouth. Again, inhale. And release. Close the lips, inhale through the nostrils for 4, for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing in 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathing out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In 4, 3, 2, 1. Out 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4. Exhale 6. In 4. And out 6. Continuing like that on your own for a couple of rounds. Maybe if it feels okay, you can start to lengthen out the breath. So maybe you're going in for 6 and out for 8. Maybe you even have a slight pause at the beginning or end of your inhales and exhales. finish off your last round. And let the breath return to normal. Hug your knees in towards your chest. Give yourself a big hug. As you breathe in, lift your chin up towards your chest. Inhale and then hold it. Hold the breath at the top. Squeeze your body in towards itself. Let the breath swirl around in the body. And then exhale, let it go. Come back to soles of the feet on the floor, knees up towards the sky. Let's bring the right leg up towards the ceiling. Then we're going to cross the heel and the ankle over the left knee, coming into a figure four shape. See if you can press, not with your hand, but just with, just see if you can press your right knee forward towards the front of the room, opening up through the inside of the right hip. You need to stay here if this is enough for you to feel the opening. Otherwise, you can start to float the left foot up off the floor. Maybe you can hold on to the shin or the back of the thigh as you pull it in closer towards your body. Flex the toes towards the right knee to protect the joint. And just notice how you're feeling in this pose. Are you feeling any discomfort? If you are, maybe you need to back off a little bit. And see if you can distinguish between a little bit of discomfort and pain. So if you're feeling any pain anywhere, definitely back out of the pose, bring the sole of the foot back to the floor. But if it's just slightly uncomfortable or just a bit of an intense stretch, maybe it feels okay to hold it there and see how you feel. Should be feeling it through your outer right hip. And then release the left foot down towards the floor. Pick up the hips and scoot them over to the right side of the mat. And then drop your right sole of the foot all the way to the left side of your mat, coming into a twist. So the sole of your foot will land on or towards the ground. It's okay if it doesn't quite reach. And then grab hold of your ankle with your left hand and then pull your foot closer in towards your hip. Then open up towards the ceiling. Maybe you can look towards your right hand side. Maybe the arm reaches long or in a T shape. So you should be feeling firstly a twist through the spine here and an opening through the front of the right shoulder. But primarily you should be feeling a nice stretch through the outer right hip. Coming back through center. Bring your hand to the outer blade of your right foot and start to bring the sole of the foot towards the ceiling, coming into half happy baby. Bring your left hand onto the front of your left hip, and maybe you can start to straighten out through your left hip. If you are straightening out the leg, you'll be feeling a nice opening through the left psoas, so the front of the left hip, as well as an opening through the right hip in that half happy baby shape. If you can't quite reach the outer blade of the foot, you can also hold on to the back of the thigh and bring the knee in closer towards the underarm. And then gently release, let it go, coming back into Ardha Shavasana, so knees up towards the sky. And then reach the left leg high, coming to the other side. We'll bend through the knee and cross the ankle over the right knee. Either stay here pushing the left knee forward towards the front of the room, flexing through the left foot, or start to float the foot off the floor, coming into that figure four shape, clasping the hands round. If you do have the clasp of the hands, bring attention to the shoulders. Notice if you can relax them just a little bit more. And as we did on the other side, bring attention into your left hip. Notice how it's feeling. Is there any pain? Or is it just a nice stretch? And you release the clasp of the hands. Ground through the sole of the right foot, pick up the hips, and then bring them to the left edge of the mat. Then drop the left sole of the foot onto the ground on your right hand side. Hold onto the front of your left ankle with your right hand and then scoot the foot closer in towards you. Seeing if you can open the left knee so it's reaching towards the front of the room. That'll bring a little bit more opening into the left hip. Maybe you can reach your left arm long or into a cactus shape. Maybe the gaze reaches, relaxing into a spinal twist as well. And coming back towards the center. Half happy baby, this time with the left foot up towards the sky. Again, right hand comes to right hip. Maybe extend the right leg long. Maybe applying a little bit of pressure with your right hand to encourage your right hip to ground down into the floor. And then hug both knees in towards your chest. Start to rock and roll up along the length of the spine. Take about 3 rolls here, massaging along the spine. And then rock all the way up and over into a forward fold, Uttanasana, grounding through the toes. Hold on to opposing elbows or even just let your arms hang heavy onto the ground, rock side to side. And then close down your eyes. Generous bend in the knees as you let your upper body press onto your thighs, melting down in towards the floor. Let the head hang heavy, let the neck go. Let yourself go. Long, slow and steady breath. Ground through the feet and step your left foot to the back of the mat, coming into a long, low lunge. So bend into the right knee, open up through the chest. And then plant the hands down, step to a downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Knees can be bent if you need, heels can be slightly lifted. Notice the points of contact on the floor, so your feet and your hands. And as you inhale, roll through the spine, tuck the tailbone under, come forward to a high plank position, dome through the upper back. As you exhale, bend through the knees, come onto the balls of the feet and reach the hips up and back towards the sky. Couple more like that. Inhale to roll forward, uniting the breath and the movement. Exhale to roll back, downward facing dog. Starting to bring a little bit of fluidity and movement into the practice. Let the movements be organic. Doing what feels nice for you, what serves you today. And then reaching up and back, downward facing dog is where we meet. Slowly walk your feet all the way to the top of your mat to meet your hands to a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, and an exhale to fold. Inhale, rise to standing, upward salute, palms touch. Exhale, fold straight back down to the mat. Inhale, step back with the right foot, long low lunge, open up. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time, walk your hands to your feet at the back of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing, palms touch. Exhale, sit low into your chair pose, Utkatasana, so feet about hips width distance apart. See if you can slightly tuck your tailbone under and your belly button in towards your spine. Reach your arms forward. Exhale, reach your arms back behind you, flying chair. Inhale, rise to stand. Exhale, fold all the way down to the mat, walk out to your downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward to a plank. Exhale, bend the elbows and come all the way down to the mat. Bring your fingertips onto the outside of the mat, onto the wood or carpet, wherever you are. Tent your fingers so that your fingertips are facing down, are pressing down into the floor. Shoulder blades hugging in towards one another, point through the toes, lift the kneecaps up off the mat. Inhale, striking cobra, open through the chest, lift up. Exhale, melt down to the mat, roll through the spine. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, melt down. Fluid, organic movements. Inhale. This time, exhale, drop your right shoulder to the mat, look over your left shoulder. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, left shoulder to the mat. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, melt down to the mat. This time, press through the hands. Inhale to cobra or upward facing dog, straighten through the arms. And then exhale, downward facing dog is where we meet. Inhale, right leg lifts to the sky, three-legged dog. Bend through the knee and open through the hip. Yawn the hip open. Feel the opening through the front of the right hip. Exhale, curl it in towards your chest. Plant it down between your hands. Lower the back knee down. Keep the toe tucked. Roll up to low lunge, Anjaneyasana, hands to the sky. As you exhale, sit a little bit deeper into the shape. Inhale, come back up through center. This time, ground through the back ball of the foot as you come up to arrowhead pose on your exhale. Inhale, high lunge, reach it high. Exhale, cactus the arms, sit a little bit deeper into your lunge. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hands come down on the inside of your right foot. Lower your back knee, untuck the toe, and then spin the left foot so it's facing the right wall of the room. As you inhale, peel the left arm open towards the sky, coming into a modified side angle pose. Should be feeling a nice opening through the inside of the right hip here. If you can't quite reach the ground, you can also come up onto your forearm, resting your forearm onto your knee if that feels better. Sending breath into the right hip. Noticing how it feels. Do you need to back off or can you sit a little bit deeper into the pose? Left hand comes down to the mat, frame the front foot, tuck the back toe, and then lift the right leg towards the back of the room. Extend it nice and long. As you exhale, curl it in towards your chest, tiger curl round through the upper back. Inhale, extend it long, right leg goes long. Exhale, curl it in towards your chest. Last one, inhale. This time as you exhale, ground through the left ball of the foot and curl the knee in towards you, tiger curl with the back knee lifted. Inhale, three-legged dog, bend the knee, open the hip. Exhale, downward dog, feet meet at the back of the mat. Rock side to side, massaging out through the hips. Inhale, three-legged dog, left leg rises, bend the knee, open the hip. Yawn open towards the side. Enjoy this opening here. As you exhale, curl in towards your chest. Plant it down between your hands at the top of the mat and lower the back knee. Roll up through the spine, reach the arms towards the sky, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, melt into the pose. Inhale, come back through center. Exhale, arrowhead, lift the back knee, reach the hands towards the back of the room. Inhale, high lunge, arms towards the sky. Exhale, cactus the arms, sit a little deeper. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, bring the hands down on the inside of the left foot. Ground through the back knee, untuck the toe, and then spin the foot to face the left wall of the room, opening up through the right side, through the right arm, towards the sky. Modified side angle pose. You can let the head and neck go, releasing any tension. Right hand down towards the mat, frame the front foot, tuck the back toe, and then lift the left leg towards the back of the room, extended tabletop position. Inhale here, and then exhale, curl it in towards your chest. Inhale, extend. Exhale to curl. Final time, inhale. This time as you exhale, tiger curl, lift the back knee. And then three-legged dog, bend and open through the hip. Downward facing dog, toes meet at the back of your mat, hips roll side to side. If you'd like to take a flow here, feel free. Otherwise, just hang out in down dog, feeling a nice opening through the back line of the legs. Start to walk your hands towards your feet at the back of the mat. Inhale, Utkatasana, sit low into your chair pose. And exhale, fly the hands back behind you. Inhale, rise up, right knee to chest as you reach your hands towards the sky. As you exhale, figure four, like we did at the beginning of practice, cross your right heel over your left knee. Bring your hands to prayer in front of you and start to bend into the left knee as you fold in and over yourself, bending into the pose. Open eagle pose. Drishti, eye gaze is on one point to help you balance. And if you come out, don't worry, just come back into the pose as you feel ready. Of course, you're always welcome to take this on your back as well. If you're feeling nice and open, maybe you can start to reach your hands down towards the floor, coming into more of a folded shape. So folding in over your legs. Flex through the right foot to protect your knee. And then slowly rise back up to standing, right knee to chest. As you exhale, we're coming into a little curtsy pose. So shoot the leg out towards the left back corner of your mat. Bend through your left knee. Hands at prayer as you twist towards the left. Hook your right elbow onto your outer left knee. Spin towards the left side of the room. Maybe the gaze reaches high. You can stay here or start to fly your arms long. And then coming back through center, right knee to chest. And release it down. Release through the legs, and the hands too. Feeling a new sense of fluidity and openness through your right hip. See if you can feel any difference between the right hip and the left. Inhale, chair pose, Utkatasana, coming to the other side. Exhale, fly your hands long behind you. Inhale, left knee to chest. Exhale, cross it over your left knee, hands to prayer. Start to sit low into the shape. Bend your right knee. Round through your right pinky toe and big toe. You can stay here, or you can start to fold in over your body. If you've got props handy, maybe you're using a block or a book or something to prop your hands up to help you get a little bit higher off the ground. Send your breath into your outer left hip. It's quite an intense pose. You're focusing on balancing as well as a strong opening through the left hip. So be kind to yourself in this pose. Notice what your body's asking for. And then coming back up through center. Left knee to chest. Bend through the right knee, shoot the left leg back behind you, come onto the ball of the left foot. Start to parallel your spine towards the floor so you're in one straight line, and then twist towards the right. Hook the left elbow onto the outer right knee, press through the hands to get your twist a little bit deeper. Maybe gaze reaches towards the sky. Stay here or fly your arms open. Release it, come back through center, left knee to chest. And then let it go. Shake out through the legs. Inhale, reach high, upward salute. Exhale to fold, let it go. Walk forward to a plank position. Either straight to down dog or move through a flow if you like. Inhale, three-legged dog with the right leg lifted high. Bend through the knee, open through the hip. As you exhale, plant the foot down in between the hands, and then spin and open into warrior two. Spread the arms long, gaze reaches over the right middle finger. See if you can get your hips to face the side of the room, and then look forward over your right hand. On your next inhale, start to straighten through your right leg. Spin your toes to face your left feet so that your feet are parallel, toes slightly pointed in. Take a breath in, hands towards the sky. And then exhale, fold over your legs, hands towards the floor. Forward fold, Prasarita Padottanasana. Let yourself melt down into the mat. You can take any variation you like here, hands to the floor. You could hold on to your ankles or the outsides of your feet. We could even clasp your hands behind your lower back and come into a shoulder stretch. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Maybe it's on the insides of your thighs or your hips. Let's inhale, come to a halfway lift. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, rise to standing. Point the toes forward. And then cartwheel the hands down, moving through a flow. You can choose a one-legged flow if you like, or you can meet us straight in down dog. As you inhale, three-legged dog with the left leg, bend and open through the hip. Exhale, curl it in towards you, plant the foot down between the hands, spin and open, warrior two. Stay where you are, I'm just spinning so that I'm facing the camera for this one. As you inhale, start to straighten through the legs. This time, heel and toe the right foot in, so that your toes are pointing out, heels pointing in, and then start to bend through the knees. Bring your hands to your knees and shrug up through the shoulders, sinking down through the hips, low into goddess pose. As you inhale, push your shoulders away from your ears. Then as you exhale, bring your right shoulder towards your left knee. Maybe gaze reaches over your left shoulder. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, other side. One more on each side. Inhale, come through center. Hold at the center for a few breaths, rocking side to side, hands at heart center. And sit a little bit deeper. And come up to standing, straighten through the legs, release. Cartwheel the hands down to the floor and move through a flow. As you inhale, rise onto the balls of the feet, bend the knees and look forward, and then make your way to the top of the mat. Coming into a seat. Lengthen your legs out in front of you, flex your toes towards you, and then curl your knee in towards your left knee in towards your chest. Clasp your hands on the sole of your left foot and start to reach it up off the ground, reaching the sole of the foot towards the front of the room. This might be enough for you right here to start to feel it through the right hip. Otherwise, if it feels okay, see if you can slide your left hip so that it's on the outside of your left shoulder, so your left knee on the outside of your left shoulder, and then start to move the foot back and forth, bringing in some movement into the left hip. And then bring the sole of the right foot on the inside of the right elbow, Then left elbow cradles the left knee. Clasp the hands in front of the shin and start to rock side to side, rock the baby. Flex through the left toes to protect the knee. And then release what you've got. Bring the sole of the left foot down on the outside of the right knee. Ground through the left hand. Inhale, reach the right arm high. Exhale, spin towards the left hand side. Marichyasana C. You can keep this leg extended, or you can tuck the heel in towards your left hip. See if you can ground evenly through both hip joints as you twist towards the left. Option to stay here or to reach the right hand through and come into a half bind or a full bind. Maybe gaze reaches towards the back of the room. And then slowly, gently come out of the twist. We're going to come into a forward fold now. So cross both of your feet over so that your shins are parallel with one another, Sukhasana. And then start to gently walk the hands forward towards the top of the mat. Now you could even sit upright and this might be enough for you. Otherwise you can start to crawl forward, coming into more of a forward fold. Should be feeling this through the outside of the left hip, similar to when we do pigeon pose. So walk the hands towards the front of the mat. Maybe the forearms can come down. Use any props that you've got. If you've got a block or a cushion or anything, maybe you like to rest your head. You can even rest your head in your hands, whatever's most comfortable for you. Similar to a lot of poses that we've moved through today, this one can be quite intense for a lot of people. So just notice what comes up for you in this shape. Especially if, as women, we tend to hold a lot of tension in our hips. A lot of emotions and stress. So just be gentle in this shape and notice what's coming up. And slowly walk back up to center. Unravel the legs and we'll come to the other side. So curl the right knee in towards your chest. Clasp the hands on the underside of the right foot and then reach the sole of the foot towards the front of the room. Start to rock in and out, bringing the knee in towards the underarm and then starting to extend it long again. And then we'll come into that rock the baby shape. So using your elbows to cradle your outer blade of the foot and your knee. Clasp the hands around the shin and rock side to side. And then ground through the right sole of the foot, coming into the twist. So ground your right hand behind your lower back. Inhale, reach your left arm high. As you exhale, twist towards the right hand side. Hook your elbow around the outer right knee. You can either stay here with the leg extended long or you can start to tuck it in towards your right hip. See if you can ground evenly through both of your hip joints. You can stay here or move into a half or full bind, threading your hand underneath your right leg. Maybe you can reach your right hand around and grab onto your fingers or onto the wrist. If you come into the bind, see if you can maintain the integrity of the pose by lengthening out through the spine, knowing that you can always back off when you need. Maybe the gaze reaches towards the back of the room. Gently, slowly start to unwind. Release the grip if you've got it. And then coming into the Sukhasana pose again, so crossing the shins in front of one another, flexing through the toes. Either stay here, grounding into both hip joints, or maybe you can start to walk forward through the fingertips and through the hands. This might be enough for you, or maybe you're coming down to your forearms, or resting your head onto a block or a prop, or even into your hands. If that feels okay for you, maybe you can close down the eyes now. Letting your breath anchor you into the pose. With each exhale, relaxing a little bit further into the stretch. Maybe you need to unclench your jaw a couple of times, noticing how when we stretch through the hips, we often clench through the jaw. Slowly walking your fingertips back in towards your legs, straightening through the spine. Bring your hands out behind you, ground through the soles of your feet, and start to windscreen wiper your knees side to side. Releasing any tension that's built up as we move through those poses. And then ground through the soles of the feet, round through the back as you start to roll all the way down to a reclined position. Once you get there, adjusting so that your heels are close enough in towards your bum that you can tickle your heels with your fingertips. As you feel ready, start to engage the abdomen to lift your hips up off the ground, coming into bridge pose. Start to extend your arms long out behind you. And then as you exhale, drop back down towards the ground. We'll move through a few flowing bridges. So inhale, lift your hips up off the ground, hands towards the back of the room. Exhale, melt back down one vertebra at a time. Last one, inhale. This time as you exhale, keep your hips where they are. Reach your hands back towards the front of the room, ground through the palms. Then start to walk your shoulder blades in towards one another. Maybe you can clasp your hands behind your lower back, coming into the full bridge pose. Seeing if you can parallel your feet, maybe even pigeon toe them slightly. And then rolling down one vertebra at a time, all the way onto your back. Starting back where we began, knees knock in towards one another, hands on the body, any way you like. One final pose, we'll do Paschimottanasana, forward fold. Gently rock up to a seat. Extend the legs long, maybe even a bend through the knees here if you need, and then start to walk forward with your hands coming into a forward fold. Nice and passive, you can round through the spine here. Just let yourself decompress from that bridge pose. And then slowly rolling your way all the way down to Shavasana, corpse pose. Spreading your legs wide, your arms wide. Releasing into the mat beneath you. And gifting yourself this next couple of minutes to completely let go. Leave the practice behind now. To soften, to relax, and to melt gently and effortlessly into the ground beneath you. invite in a big, deep breath. And then release it completely. Start to stretch out in any way that feels nice for you. And then your choice, rolling onto a side or rocking up to a seat. Bring your hands into your hip joints and start to just massage the hips with your fingertips. You can use your knuckles to press into your hips or your thumbs, all around the hips, even going back towards the glutes, the outer hips, then coming through the psoas, the insides of the hips and the insides of the legs. And press tension firmly into one sweet spot that you find. And then on an exhale, let everything go. Hands come back towards the knees and then float up to touch in front of your heart space. Hopefully you're feeling a new sense of freedom into your hip joints. Let's take a breath in together to finish class. Inhale. Exhale. Namaste.